Flashbacks, man. Um, man, I just remember day one. Day one going into the system, automatically and instantly seeing the difference between prison and jail. Jail was still familiarity. Jail was still in your hometown. Jail is or was, still where you're gonna know some people. You know what I'm saying? But now we're in a place where you're getting sent down the road, as they say, or up the road, depending on the OG that you're speaking to. And you're going to prison. Prison is the big leagues. Prison is an environment where you may not know anybody from your city. Your city may be a small one. You may think where you're at is big, and then you get down the road, and here you go, you surrounded by everybody that isn't from where you're from. Prison is a place where there's a quick learning curve. The level or the seriousness of the environment instantly gets increased when you go to prison. I remember that, not just do I remember knowing that immediately, but seeing that confirmed within my first 1 or 2 days there. Within the first day, my cell partner had, passed me a stick and said, "Hey, this is how you need to carry it. This is what's going to be going on. This is how I need you to move if you want to live and survive in a place like this." In jail, it was just hands. It was fist fights, and that was it. So, I remember, that nervous feeling, not wanting to go to prison, but at the same time, wanting to get that part of the journey over with. Knowing that I was gonna have to leave the jail anyway, so I might as well get down the road and set up shop, as they say, or get established because we're about to, this is it. I'm about to do this time. And I remember when I got to that prison pulling up, for me, it was a gigantic fortress. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, I'm not talking about receiving where I was level 2. I'm talking about where I was going to get stationed. I said station like I'm in the military, but same thing. Housed, whatever. Um, Sussex 2 it still is one big gigantic concrete block, and it's surrounded by fence after fence, barbed wire after barbed wire, and that's it. And there's a truck rolling around the perimeter, and there's several towers, and immediately right out, you're not going home. There's no way you're getting out from this situation. And from the moment you're off the bus, you understand how real it is. From the moment you get off the bus, the COs or whatever, they're screaming in your face, and they may have changed it now, but back in my day, from the bus, you were put into this fish tank. I call it the fish tank, holding cell, whatever, and you'd be surrounded by guards, and they pull out a camera, and they would be taking pictures, video recording them interviewing you while you're stripping, being called to squat and cough, and so they could get pictures of all your tattoos, etc. Um, and for me alone, let me go back to that, right? So it's and as I tell this, I gotta be clear, right? This is not a story where I'm saying, "Oh, please, why me?" But I just want you to understand the reality of the prison in hopes that you don't go. You know what I'm saying? In hopes that you don't have to go through that situation. You understand what I'm saying? But it's one thing to be sent to prison. It's another thing to be pulled off that bus. You're in the fish tank. You're in, that holding cell, and they're video recording you while they tell you to squat and cough. They're getting your tattoos. They're asking you your name. All this stuff they could get off paper. And then you're ushered into the hallway. And somebody else. When you're ushered into the hallway, you are sent to laundry first. And you get your gear, you get your clothes, right? You get 3 pairs of socks, 3 pairs of boxers, 3 t-shirts, whatever it is. And you know what I'm saying? You're sitting there and the stuff's used. it's not even been bleached like that. Somebody you can obviously see somebody's been wearing that, and this is the clothes you got to wear. The next step, they bring you to the barber. At the time, in the system where I was at, you couldn't even have a beard. All you could have was a mustache, no facial hair, and I think it was like 1.25 inches of hair on top. So they gave you an even Steven, and that was it. You know, you got your stuff, then you're out there in the onto the breezeway or the boulevard or what not, and I'm trying to. And when you are on the breezeway, the first thing you see, I always say, it's like the sunlight. It hit the boulevard and just lit everything up. It was like the Coliseum, man. 300. Everybody was in the prison gates or in the prison cages, as I call it, because each pod was segregated away from the rest inside the prison, and man, everybody was in burgundies. It was loud. You prison was definitely it was in stereo right there. And as you're walking down the boulevard, you are, dudes are being, screaming at you, where you from? Da, da, da. What you in here for? Da, da, da. How much time you got? They just trying to get any information. You walking through this boulevard on both sides of the gate, or both sides of the boulevard on the gate. It's like 40, 50 dudes. They just grilling, looking, asking questions. It's not just you're with some other, but man, for your first time, for my first time, it was traumatizing. It was what it was. After that, went in the building and went to my dorm or my pod or whatever. And I remember going to the CO's office, which was at the front of the pod, and him not being any help, just immediately telling me, just go down to cell 10. That's it. And I'm in there, cell 10, I'm walking down to cell 10, I look in there, it looks like a dang apartment. I've never seen a cell look like this because I'm coming from the jail. And it's still kind of dark, dude had the window blocked out or whatnot. So I looked in there, nobody was in there. Kind of like waited by the door to see if somebody was going to come over, which they did. That's when I met my cell partner. And, it was just, from there, it was hoping he was all right, because this was the individual I was going to be housed with. This was the individual I was going to be in the cell with. So I'm hoping dude is an ally. What up, T? And I'm sitting here, within the first 30 seconds, he's like, yeah, bro, you can just, this your box, where you can put your stuff. They about to lock us down. This is the schedule. I'm just like, man, I hope dude don't try me. I could tell he had been down for some time, and immediately he was like, man, I've been down for 23 years. And you know what I'm saying? That's that. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for good. He didn't say it like that, but he was basically letting me know there was a good chance he wasn't going to be going home. Like, he was a lifer. He was locked in, unless he could make parole somehow. But he was already, he was good. Not good with the fact he was in there, but he was at peace with the fact he was probably never going home. But he was informative. He was somebody that started to teach me how to analyze and pay attention to the pod, what to pay attention to. He taught me about the politics. He taught me who the big homies were, the big dogs, so to say, how certain things moved immediately. He let me know how to, I guess, move according to the unwritten laws. Hear but don't hear, see but don't see. Don't talk about it. It's not your business. Had got sent to Sussex too, and it was a level 4. It was a level 4, and man, I could have ended up in the cell, or in a situation where I didn't have an ally. And no, it was not easy, because just a few days later, I ended up getting into it. You know what I'm saying? I still had somebody that could school me or give me some information outright. You know what I'm saying? Try to put me on point immediately. I had some old heads that were at the jail that were, trying to school me to their best ability, but it wasn't until I got to prison around him, it was like, all right, bet. Like he kind of gave me, the real deal because he was there in the thick of it. Not to mention he had been on Sussex for probably like, who knows, by that time, 8, 9, 10 years, whatever. And I don't know, man. It's just real.